Why is Genshin? Oh my holy react slop day. Bro, from God Real is God Real, and now we have with us why Genshin Impact doesn't listen to you. Absolute fucking cinema for a react slop tuber like myself. Without further ado, this video is gonna be by one of my favorite Genshin Impact guy in the history of Genshin Impact, and that is going to be Mr. Doro44. So take a peek at bro's video, and without further ado, let's look at this absolute fucking cinema masterpiece. I'm so sorry, I'm gonna play this a little bit fast because Western content creator speaks a little bit slow for my taste. Zarkar, thank you so much for the 8 months, and there we do.
Is a question that I've been thinking about for a very long time. I finally decided I want to make a video on it. I have been playing Genshin since when Eula came out. I've done every Archon quest, I've looked at all the memes, I've built...
Wait, he is not a day one Genshin player? Wow.
Countless characters, I've done so many events, I've explored, not as much as I should have. But honestly, I feel like I've spent more time in this game than I have like IRL friendship.
But I'm pretty sure my executive account managers 100%ed the entire map, by the way. Thank you.
Number one, Hoyo show, all right? If you've been playing Genshin for a certain amount of time, there's like a pattern that you probably noticed. And honestly, for a while, I feel like the community and myself have thought about this simple question. Why does it seem like Genshin Impact doesn't listen to us? Genshin isn't just a video game. Genshin is a live service anime casino wearing an open world RPG costume. And I truly say that with love. But that does mean that every decision that Hoyo makes has to balance two things. How do we make players happy? And how do we make players want to keep logging in and potentially spending money? Because remember, Hoyo's a business, not your friend. You think Naya Train is free, or Aether's gun, or Al Haytham's butt job?
Whoa!
Okay, that sounded a lot better in my head than out loud. Anyway, let's just keep moving on. And look, sometimes the two things work very well together. A new region comes out, players are happy, and Hoyo makes money, making them happy. But sometimes these goals kind of,
Okay, wait, chat, before we go any further, full disclaimer, in case y'all see this on the clip channel, yours truly is, in fact, what you would call a Genshin tourist. I'm not a Genshin larper. I don't pretend to be a Genshin expert. So, we do be a tourist taking a look at a real Genshin expert's opinion in Genshin Impact. So I'm not gonna say too much because my understanding of Genshin Impact is essentially if you play Mavega, you win the game, right? And then if you were to play Kalambina with Nefer, you win the game. All right, that's pretty much it. All right, let's take a look.
Well, kind of fight each other. Players want more pulls, which I'm there with you, trust me. But Hoyo wants us to buy more pulls because, again, money. Players want a new character to feel very strong and usable at C0 versus C2. But Hoyo wants the constellations and the weapons to feel tempting. Players want old characters to get buffs, which we have been getting recently. But also, on the flip side, Hoyo wants the new characters to be sellable. And that's where a lot of the tension comes into play. It's more that Genshin has its own, like, very specific design philosophy, and the community has been fighting that philosophy since launch. So, let's go back in time.
Whoa. Holy
when Genshin first launched in 2020, everybody was obsessed. The game was gorgeous, the exploration was magical. People were climbing mountains just to get a chest, cooking food, or drowning because they ran out of stamina. The good old days. But then players reached endgame, and, well, by endgame I mean, congrats, now you can spend 12 minutes using your resin and, well, go log off, I guess. Now this was before my time, but original resin was like the first main frustration from the community. People just wanted to keep playing the game. Like, they wanted to farm more artifacts and build their characters and fight more bosses.
The reason why I can't cook standing up videos like this is because your stream is too tall. All right, I am physical. Okay, technically Doro is a big guy. I think Doro is like around my height. But I live in a small ass house in Singapore, bro. Bro lives in a mansion in America, right? So unfortunately, unless we get an oiler that gives us a, I don't know, a 2,000 square foot house for free, then we can have a content house, right? If there's any oilers out there that want to give me a bungalow in Singapore, I think starting price is 5 million Singapore dollars. Hit me up. I will start making stand-up content video, right?
And at the time, for some viewers here, you might not even know this, MiHoYo, yeah, it used to be MiHoYo, like that SpongeBob character, MiHoYo.
I've never said that ever in my entire life.
Anyway, yeah, MiHoYo. God, I haven't said that in a long time. They did respond, kind of. They increased the resin cap from 120 to, wait, 160, which at the time was very nice. But it also kind of created the first Genshin community meme where players ask for like a change and then MiHoYo kind of gives a small improvement. Like feeding a little bird, like, here you go, little crumbs. Now this is important because the resin frustration actually showed the community something really early on. Genshin will adjust friction, but it won't remove friction entirely. Because something I realized is that friction is part of the live service model. Having limited resin per day slows you down, but then the daily commissions bring it back. Limited banners, they create urgency. Events create FOMO, fear of missing out, for viewers who don't know what that means. And all this stuff is not an accident. It's all part of a structure. And the answer is, and you might not like this, but some of those annoyances are part of their business model. Now, not all of it, right? Some things are like really old design, like not being able to climb up the tiniest freaking ledge, and you just get stuck and then you fall to your death. But I mean, old systems could be held back by like, I don't know, spaghetti code or something. Like their original code for the game is just like paper clips and string and they can't really fix it. Or maybe mobile UI limitations, I don't know. But I do believe, and hold on, let me get my, probably should just wear this the entire video, huh? My tinfoil hat. Yeah, I have one. I think Hoyo just does a lot of it on purpose.
Zhongli. Wait, here's a Mundo? Bro, what the fuck is Vago Mundo? Wait, is that his VA's name? Is that his VA's name? His VA's name is Mundo? That's really fucking crazy,
November 2020, patch 1.1 drops. Zhongli, Geo Archon, the man with the biggest pillar in all of Teyvat, finally becomes playable. People have been waiting for him for so long. Bro's voice makes me feel things.
I guess he's like...
And then people pulled him. And
I guess he's basically like Akron, right? Is that fair? He is like the Akron equivalency Genshin Impact. Because before, bro, like Venti was first, right? Not really. Oh, he's like Jingyuan. But Jingyuan is so early 1.0 though. Wait, when did Zhongli drop again? 1. What? No, we don't talk about like his role as like a shielder or whatever, but like his relevance to like the player's hype and like drip marketing. He's 1.1? Huh. That's pretty early. Okay, that's actually really, really early. Okay, maybe he might be a Jingyuan. Yeah. I thought he dropped like 1.6 or like 1.5. Like a little bit late.
Well, so, yeah. Well, he just wasn't it, bro. His shield
was the biggest hype unit.
His damage was bad. His synergy was bad.
Like yes, he's a 5-star, levels,
but he kind of just felt more of like an NPC that happened to just be playable and found himself on the banner. And the backlash was pretty big. Like even the Chinese community was insanely frustrated. And that actually does matter because Hoyo is a Chinese company. So when their domestic community gets really angry, it's harder to ignore. And that's when their ears kind of perk up. Like, yeah, we just dropped real life primo gems and money on this dude. Like, bro can't even beat up a Hilichurl. It do be kind of scary though, I ain't gonna lie. And Hoyo's response was pretty much just saying skill issue, honestly. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the energy. But then something incredible happened. Okay, they actually buffed him. In 1.3, they reworked Zhongli and his entire kit, HP scaling shields, 20% resistance shred. And at that moment, they literally created the strongest support in that game at the time. Bro went from, this is my biggest regret ever, to, oh my God, everyone needs this guy. And people realized, no, the system works, okay? Feedback actually matters. We are heard. We have been seen.
Wow, yo, we're 10 of 40 months. Okay, so basically this is like if Jingyuan was dog shit on launch, which he was, Hoyo listened, and then they bowed Jingyuan to be the same power level as Akron, right? And everything.
We would never be listened to again. Fast forward to March 2023. Dea comes out. Dea is the Sumeru mercenary captain. She's got a 12.
Wait, so nothing happened for 3 years straight? Okay, bro, I'ma keep it about. If nothing happened in Genshin Impact for 3 years, that's a pretty peaceful game, bro. Okay, 2.5 years. Right, no drama for 2.5 years. Bro, back in Honkai Star Rail, you had a drama every year, bro. Every half a year. Which is kind of
March 2023, Dea comes out. Dea is the Sumeru mercenary captain. She's got a 12-pack, she's beautiful. Her trailer is one of my favorite trailers, honestly. That metal music, head banger, baby. But in the end, her kit literally couldn't even beat up a level 70 slime. A slime, yeah. The thing you kill in the tutorial, yeah, a 5-star can do that. I know I'm over-exaggerating, but she was not good. And of course, everyone went to Twitter and launched a new campaign. #FixDea. Globally, Korea, Japan, China, all around the world, Mr. Worldwide. The whole planet was asking for the Zhongli treatment. Hey, if you did it once, do it again. Please, save her, save her. She's my wife, probably someone said. And Hoyo's response, Dea didn't get buffed. She's still the way she is. So Zhongli got rescued.
Okay, my theory, right, is because this is what I would say a very plus 20. Okay, I'm not even kidding. I think it's legit because he's a very plus 20 unit. He has a plus 20 music, plus 20 art, plus 20 lore, plus 20 everything. But like Daya is like she's not really plus 20. So respectfully, it is what it is. Which is why I was like, bro, I swear they're gonna buff E2 Deal, bro. Like E2 Deal is not that weak. But like if there's gonna be a unit getting buffed in version 1, it's probably gonna have to be E2 Deal. Like 1 right? 6 months or like within 1 year, they should probably be buffing in Bitter Rune. Because he is like the definition of plus 20 in HSR. So at that one.
Hashtag fix Daya.
Who is Jingyuan? No one knows.
Japan, China, all around the world. Mr. Worldwide. The whole planet. Lee got rescued. Yep. Daya got abandoned. So what was the difference? That moment with Zhongli actually wasn't normal. And it was honestly kind of a perfect storm. He's already more important than a lot of other characters. Something that I thought about is that he also represents Liyue, which is heavily inspired by China. And also the game was young enough where Genshin felt more pressure to, you know, appease the audiences. We thought we learned that if a character is bad, we complain and Hoyo will listen. And then Hoyo learned, never let this happen again. All right, so before we continue with the video, I just want to say a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Raycon. This is actually one of those products that I didn't think I would care about until I started using them. These are the Raycon bone conduction headphones. And instead of going in your ears, they sit right here and send sound through vibrations. So your ears stay open, but you can still hear your music or your podcast clearly. I've been using these a lot when I'm walking or even just running errands because I can listen to something and still hear what's going on around me. Traffic, people. I'm not completely zoned out. And honestly, that's the biggest difference.
Raycon do be life-changing,
just more natural than normal headphones. They're also super lightweight. They don't slip at all, and the battery lasts up to 13 hours. So I basically don't even think about charging them. The bone conduction headphones are the perfect addition to your fitness routine. Plus, they're waterproof and dustproof. So gym, rain, the Sahara Desert, whatever, it does not matter.
This guy
Raycon in general is known for giving you that premium quality without the insane price tag. You got over 3 million customers.
Bro, it feels like I'm like Silver Wolf, bro. Look at that. It's like a little Silver Wolf 8
30-day happiness guarantee. I use mine pretty much every day now, especially when I want to just listen to something without completely disconnecting from everything around me. So if you want to check them out, there's a link in my description below. Go to buyraycon.com/DoroBC to get 15% off your order. You're welcome. Anyways, thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. Genshin has been very, very careful about changes that they make to a character after release. They'll fix bugs, they'll fix descriptions, they'll change and improve systems around characters, but a direct buff, kind of rare. Because here's the thing, and I thought about this when I was writing this. Once players believe characters can be changed, every banner becomes like a war zone, honestly. And trust me, Hoyo don't want that. Now let's talk about another controversy that Genshin went through. Oh, it's so good. Now, I know I'm taking you around everywhere, okay? But trust me, when I wrote this script, it made sense in my head, all right? We're going back now in time. I'm like Doc and Marty in the DeLorean. September 2021. The first Genshin Impact anniversary. This was hype, bro. The game had crossed like $2 billion on mobile alone, by the way. On phone, cell phone, mobile only. That's crazy. That's $1 billion. Players expected big rewards, which logically makes sense. You know, in gacha games, anniversaries are a big deal. We're literally celebrating the game, and an anniversary is a perfect time to thank the player. Hey, thank you for playing our game, and thank you for giving us money if you did, and talking about our game and liking our game. You know, it's a huge deal. You give people free stuff so that they feel appreciated, and then they go and spend money immediately because, let's be honest.
How would you guys like me to thank y'all as your streamer? I think our streamer anniversary, or rather your streamer's anniversary, or rather your streamer's birthday, is gonna be happening in about a month, guys. How would y'all like me to thank y'all? Yeah, my anniversary, in which I will thank y'all. A Sabaton cosplay Gilgamesh, do a car cosplay, play Roko Kingdom, Monster Hunter Rise, Himeko cosplay, one night stand, shirtless stream, dick stream, Sabaton, give us your account, Sabaton Pokemon Platinum. Ooh, that sounds very interesting. All right, we'll see what's up.
Players have no survival instincts whatsoever. But when the time came, you know, like the whole community was like buzzing. Like, what are they gonna do for their big celebration? You know, like, oh my God, this is the first anniversary. It's been a global success. And they announced, let me see what my script here says when I research this. A web event where 10% of players win a $5 Welkin Moon, and the other 90% get 100,000 Mora. An iPhone raffle with 3 total winners across millions of players. Cosplay contest where the prize was AirPods, and an art submission contest, and in-game basically nothing. That was it. That was the anniversary. Now the funny thing was that Forbes.
Well, it's cold here. Can we get a fa? Can we get a fa? Can we get a fa emote? I'm not sure what like somewhat of a fa emote. Oh, is that fa? Nah, that's not a good fa, bro. We need a fa like FAH all caps. Yeah, FAH all caps.
Zine, the people who interview like CEOs, you know, people that are of big importance like myself, #Glaive, they wrote a piece and it was actually titled Genshin Impact Can Afford a Free Anniversary 5-star Reward. Someone screenshotted it, put it on the Genshin subreddit, and got 17,000 upvotes in 5 days. Korean players spammed the Fallen Chi-Chi sticker. You know, this one right here on the official Discord so hard that Hoyo turned on 10-minute slow-mo. The Google Play rating plummeted, bro. It went from a 4.5 to like 1.9. 1.9. Google literally had to step in and remove bot reviews. And then somehow they got into Google Classroom, which is honestly still one of the most funniest and like, unhinged moments in Genshin drama, I guess. Like, could you imagine? All right, class, today we're gonna be working on the Pythagorean theorem. Theory, you know, math and stuff. Yeah, hi, Primo Gems? This is the classroom. What does Hoyo do? You might be asking.
Doro's a funny guy.
PR move, I guess. But
Doro's a funny guy.
They sent 4 in-game mails, adding up to 1,600 Primo Gems, a 10 pull, plus a glider. This is the funny thing, and when I was researching for this video, apparently...
Oh, thank you, Palm. Is it a good
glider was already leaked before this happened.
Okay, you know what?
It was already on schedule to like come out, and apparently it was going to cost money. But then they were just like, you know what, let's just like put it in here. So it wasn't like they made new compensation. They just like rewrapped a glider that was coming anyway and called it an apology. It's kind of like your girlfriend or boyfriend, right? Like forgetting your birthday and then giving you a Christmas present in October and being like, see, I do care, babe, you know? Players notice that when controversy gets big enough, Genshin moves. But again, I think Hoyo actually learned a different lesson this time than what we think. They realized that rewards are very dangerous territory, and gacha players will literally rip your throat out if they don't get more Primo Gems. You give too little, players will riot. But if you give too much, then players are going to expect more every year. So now it feels like Genshin's very...
Turns out to play one league and
controlled with their rewards. It's definitely better than the first anniversary.
Bro, I don't even have
it
on my PC, by the way.
That does bring me into my next topic, and that's the, you know, pulls that we get. If you don't spend money in the game or you're a very low spender, it's a very different game that you're playing than a whale. Now, let me stop you there. I'm not bragging about being a whale. If anything, that's probably my biggest regret. My accountant literally hates me. Anyway, when you're playing the game as a free-to-play or low spender, you're playing the game very differently, and you have different challenges that you have to overcome because money ain't gonna fix it. But the problem now with modern Genshin is that there are more characters. There's like 110 characters. There's more team comps, more reactions. Meta's always changing. There's more specialized support.
Bro, the first thing I saw in this entire pager is how absolutely fucking massive Mavuega is, but Dongadong's bro. That's how you know she's the main push, bro. I swear Mavuega is still gonna be better 3 years from now. Alright, bro, it's absolute fucking cinema, and I'm just so glad that my free-to-play account has Mavuega.
110 characters? In-game content that they added that encourages you to have more characters. There are mechanics that are tied to regions, like Natlan. The problem is that the amount of pulls that they're giving per patch doesn't sync with current Genshin anymore, because Genshin is asking more of us now. But it feels like some things just haven't scaled properly with it. Like literally in 2020, you could have pulled Venti and you would have been like, dude, I can destroy anything. This is awesome. I hope this game never changes. But then in 2026, you pull a DPS character and it's like, oh great, awesome. Do you have their premium support and their premium weapon and another character? Because you're gonna need all of that for them to do something. Do something. It's like, bro, come on. I got like 47 Primo Gems here. Give me a break. And so with that, it feels like they have a lot of listening to do. But I was just talking about endgame, and that's gonna be my next point actually. Because for a long time, players were asking for new endgame modes that were tougher and more challenging. And something besides Spiral Abyss. More challenges to use their built characters on, you know? Because it felt like for a long time that Genshin had this cycle where like new character comes out, you pull character, you spend your time and your resin building character, leveling their talents and their weapons and all that, and optimizing their builds. And the hardest enemy that you had to fight was not having a skip button and hearing Paimon talk way too much. But jumping ahead a little bit to the second anniversary, we're bracing for impact. Surely they learn, right? Surely after the disaster last year, they go big.
I was gonna say, I'm just really, as a Genshin Impact tourist, I was expecting to hear Genshin Impact music. Half the time just hearing Zenless Zone Zero. Which makes me want a goon, so I'm just really disappointed with that door.
And we get 20 free wishes, Pet Crane, and some Ascension mats. So that's about it. And according to my research, a website called The Gamer, they had an article, and it was literally titled, "The Community Collectively Shrugs." Like, yeah, but year one, people lost their minds. But year two, you know, they were a little bit better awards, but we kind of just accepted it. But see, hold on. See, that's the pattern, right? Okay, that's how this works. Hoyo lowered our expectations. All right, stick with me here. They lowered our expectations on purpose so that the bare minimum would feel like a gift. Makes sense, right? We got trained like a dog, and it worked. We accepted it. And just to prove that that wasn't just a fluke, when 4.4 Lantern Rite came out, it's around January 2024, I think, it had worse rewards than past Lantern Rites, and Billy Li, the Chinese YouTube, by the way, review bombed Genshin Chinese accounts, and their follower count started dropping. I think they lost over 1 million. I think I actually made a video on that. So now buckle up, because we're about to hit the boss level of Hoyo's not listening.
Oh.
In October of 2022, GameSpot had an interview with Hoyo, all right? And the community was begging and begging and begging for more endgame content, myself included. Anyone AR55 or higher, like, basically had nothing to do. Like, use resin, you'll log out, that's about it. That's your cycle for the day. So Hoyo gave an official answer. People were excited for it. And I'm gonna actually read it to you exactly, because it's crazy. I quote, Spiral Abyss is one of the most effective ways for players to test out their party composition and combat strength. If we design another type of permanent endgame that is similar to Spiral Abyss, it might end up creating excessive anxiety for our players. Not everyone is interested in must grief. Excessive anxiety. Oh God, I remember the community memeing that one up, bro. Holy. We were just asking for harder fights, bro. And I feel like that was such a weird interview and excuse that I've ever heard from a developer. Like, we can't add more endgame because players who don't do endgame might feel anxious knowing it exists. You know what I mean? Like, let's be for real. People who don't do endgame, they don't even open Spiral Abyss. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they're not gonna lose sleep over a second optional thing that they'll just ignore. That's honestly like a restaurant who can't add a dessert because guests who don't want dessert will feel pressure to get dessert. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Just don't do it. People who don't do it won't do it. And a small streamer who's also short IRL, his name is Zyox. You might know him. He wrote, "I'm truly more sad than angry." That pretty much sums that up, honestly. Good job. Like, we weren't even mad. We were just disappointed, like a dad, like my dad. Because, you know, my dad left me. Never met my dad, so he's probably just disappointed in me. Sorry, because he's disappointed in me. But look at me now, Dad. But remember that quote, excessive anxiety. Burn that into your head, all right? Because that line will be coming back in the video. And at the time, I think this answer did explain a lot, because it feels like Hoyo saw the game more as a casual game for casual players. Exploration, story, events, TCG, sometimes a little bit of combat, sometimes, I don't know, picking mint. You know, that was Genshin, casual fun game. And low-key, I won't lie, I feel like that is a big part as to why Genshin is so successful. But for the players that really focus on the combat and difficulty, it kind of felt unheard. Like, okay, what's the point of building my characters or getting constellations for them? And a lot of players wanted Genshin to become something deeper. Like, Hoyo wanted Genshin to be just accessible and easy to pick up and play and enjoy, while a lot of players wanted harder permanent game modes. Myself included, actually.
Whoa! Go Rail mentioned! Oh
now
my
we're
goodness!
Gonna go over this way to December of 2023.
Holy
drops their
shit!
new game, Honkai Star Rail. They give
Oh
every
my
player a free doctor
goodness!
ratio. This guy that throws.
Oh my goodness! A free doctor ratio with Honkai God Rail.
5-star, just in your inbox.
God
damn!
damn!
I remember this because the Genshin community lost their minds, bro. At the time, we were asking for something like that for like 3 years, and it's the same company, probably the same building, different team, sure, but the same company.
That's a big yikes right now.
Same budget, same Dawei. Unless he has clones. Do you think Dawei has clones? I could see that. But they just decided to do that, not here, but over here in a different game. And there was a news article, and the top Reddit comment on that article, and I quote, "It's Genshin. The best free thing we'll ever get is limited 4-star weapons that will never return."
If you love Genshin, never get a free 5-star.
And that's it. That's the moment we all figured out the truth. Hoyoverse can be generous. They just chose for 3 full years to not be. With Genshin. And you might probably already know this or what I'm about to say, but Genshin didn't have a big competitor. Star Rail launched into, you know, the turn-based market, which actually had rivals within it. So Hoyo had to be generous to keep HSR alive. But Genshin, I mean,
okay, honestly, was there even any other game that was like matching up to HSR's like global demand as a turn-based game? I really don't think there was, bro. Like, HSR was like a giant, like by its turn-based standards. Was there any other game that's on the same scale? Oh, like, you can't really compare E7 because like they're PvP turn-based gacha games, and there's a very, very different market demographic for like PvP games. You know what I'm saying? FGO is our night is not turn-based, bro. Our night is tower defense. Okay, probably FGO. You know what? Fair enough, right? FGO.
But the Waves wasn't out yet. We were trapped, and so they honestly just
Reverse
didn't bother. And that's not a story about
Star
Hoyo not caring, okay? That's a story about Hoyo being very good at strategy. And that really reinforced the rule where Zhongli was not a rule. It was an exception. That's probably one of the most frustrating parts of the community. Because when players know something can happen once, they'll always ask, why can't it happen again? Why buff Zhongli, but not Dea? Why add all these little quality of life changes when you're not adding the ones we're actually asking for? And I'm gonna get my chair for this one because I'm about to teach a lot of people about the world. For change to actually affect something, it's gonna have to affect one of these three things. Revenue, reputation, retention. RRR. If something is hurting those, Genshin's more likely to respond.
Business
Doro, annoying, but people keep logging in. Well, enjoy hearing Catherine say applesauce for the 476,000 times. But let's take a minute and talk about quality of life, because Genshin has added a lot of quality of life over the years, and you can't deny the game is a lot better than what it was.
Why the hell is this emote even called R, by the way? Wait, why? Yo, Cole, when did this become R, bro? What the fuck? Bro, like, since when do you even have that, bro? I didn't even know this is called R.
It was in 1.0. Artifact Strongbox,
Crazy,
which
bro.
I say that, but it's still kind of a scam. But we also have encounter points, better map tools for exploration, improved domains, underground maps, training guides, boss material tracking, more resin increase, even though I wish we had more. And all of that is really good. But the reason players still complain is because those changes took years to make. And sometimes Genshin adds a quality of life feature that feels like it should have been there since launch. It's like if your friend buys a trash can to put their trash in and they expect applause from people. Like, bro, why didn't you just have a trash can? Now, obviously, there's some pretty big examples, right? Like me personally, artifact loadouts, a skip button, more resin, you know, everything, all the things everyone asks for. But players feel ignored because the speed of improvements kind of, you know, just feels disconnected from the size of the game and the popularity of it. So when it takes years to put in a basic feature that we've been asking for,
if you complete the Alba emotes, chat is gonna be even more brain dead than they are right now. And they are already pretty brain dead, so nah.
And ask, how? Like, why did it take so long? And maybe the answer is because Genshin is like on a cycle. Like every 6 weeks, new events, new characters, quests, areas, music, you know, everything. Live stream, drip marketing, new everything. The content machine is insane. And maybe because of that, I don't know, maybe Genshin seems like they're better off making new content and new things versus revisiting old things. It really just kind of feels like maybe they think we'll forget about all those things that we wanted for years, and there's like, here's something new, you know? And that can just be very frustrating. And speaking about frustrating, let's talk about current events.
Whoa. Isn't that
now we fast forward to July of 2024. Natlan gets revealed. The new nation inspired by Latin American, African, Mesoamerican, Polynesian, Mayan culture. Very cool, very exciting stuff. And cool. Almost every character was light-skinned, and out of 9 reveals, 1 had darker skin. Now look, I'm not here to argue about the politics and all of this stuff, okay? I'm just here to tell you what happened. I'm just trying to give you the facts. But there was a petition that did launch on change.org, and by November, it had over 120,000 signatures. And even the hashtag boycott Hoyoverse, that started a trend. And here's the part that
boycott Hoyoverse came from Natlan whitewashing. Oh, I didn't even know that, bro. I thought boycott Hoyoverse came from like long ago.
Even until you see it, Genshin's own voice actors, people who were actively employed, paychecks signed by Hoyo, went to Twitter and asked their employer to do better. This was a category 5 hurricane of feedback. A lot of the community was on the same page. Other people were not, you know, it was just a mess. This is probably the biggest backlash the game had ever seen. And Hoyo's response was nothing. No statement, no design changes. Natlan shipped exactly as planned. Now hold on, okay, hold on. The 2021 anniversary backlash was big and they caved. The 2024 Natlan backlash was bigger and they didn't.
And they shipped it.
Because the Natlan characters were sold on banners. Moika, Shalonin, Kanich, Mualani. Every one of those banners did numbers. Whales pulled, dolphins pulled. The petition didn't really move the wallet. So Hoyo didn't move. And that is the formula. Loud does not matter. Loud and broke, that matters. But don't worry, because what's Genshin Impact without another controversy? In 2024, like the middle of 2024,
oh my God, his
something happens. No, not the duality of man. Revenue dropped below
duality
$1 billion.
Of man.
Oh my God, my lobster, so buttery. My steak too juicy. We didn't make $1 billion. I know that kind of sounds stupid, but at that level, that is a pretty big drop. It went from 1.3 billion in 2023 to 700-ish, 800 million. In 2024.
Oh my God.
That's a pretty big drop. And the monthly player count dropped from around 11.3 million to around 9.3 million. So still healthy, but a big drop. But then suddenly, like a switch, Hoyoverse pulled out some big things. And no, I'm not talking about Zhang Li's pillar. That is pretty big. August 2024, the 4th anniversary, they announced for the first time in the game's history, a free 5-star selector from the standard banner every year from now
it's from the standard banner.
Imaginarium Theater came out. The second endgame mode that they said that they would never make, by the way, because of, what was that? Excessive anxiety. I told you. come back in the video. Shipped in 4.7 a few months earlier. The 5th anniversary, they expanded the free 5-star selector.
Wow.
They gave out 2,800 primo gems. They added a feature called the Temper Thyself that gives you up to 4 free constellations for older characters per year. They dropped Stygian Onslaught, their 3rd endgame mode, after years of saying never gonna happen. But hold on.
God shit is God shit.
Back to 2022. What did it say? It might end up creating excessive anxiety. Well, I think that anxiety was fine. I guess the players turned out to be okay. Funny how that becomes fine when monthly active users drop by 2 million and revenue drops by 600 million. This is what I've been building to. Hoyoverse is not tone deaf. Hoyoverse is not ignoring you. They don't just listen to feedback. They listen to their balance sheet, okay? Money. The feedback only matters when the balance sheet agrees with it. Zhongli got buffed because his banner sales were plummeting. Daya didn't because new characters were already being announced and she went to standard. The 1st anniversary got bandaged up pretty quickly after the review bombing on the App Store, which threatened new player acquisition. Natlan didn't get fixed because the banners were printing money anyways. And I say this a lot on my streams, but like, they don't want the best for you. It's a business. They want money. And it's not just Genshin. It's every company. Every company in the world. Except for that one company, the Arizona Tea. That guy's a good guy. It's still 99 cents. You know, but yeah, anyway, in 2025.
Wait, what? This is 99 cents? Bro, I literally saw this in like 7-Eleven. It's like $5, bro. In Singapore. It's 99 cents in US. That's crazy, bro. Oh, import tax. Oh, okay.
That guy's
bro, this shit is not cheap in Singapore, by the way. I've seen it before, but bro, it's not cheap.
Anyway, in 2025 and early 2026, it finally felt like things were different. Player count rebounded back up to like 16 million.
Dang,
the vibes were genuinely really good. And some people, myself included, started thinking maybe Hoyo really did learn. It's just getting better and better. Well, about that. This week, literally as I'm filming this video right now, it is May 14th. Players are review bombing Genshin and Hoyoverse's actual offices on Google.
What the?
Yeah, Google Maps, not the App Store.
Holy shit. Bro, Evanesia is so fucking tight. That is insane, bro. That's an insane Evanesia. Bro, I don't care that that's Yai, Migo, or Saga, bro. That's an insane Evanesia skin, bro. That's crazy.
It's like the building where they sit and make the game. But here's what happened, okay? Version 6.6 is coming, and it has multiple highly anticipated characters, right? And players did the math, and they've been doing the math, because gacha players can't read, but we're good at math. And the patch gives somewhere between
I sincerely doubt it. Bro, I sincerely doubt gacha players can do the math, bro. But anyways.
60 to 65 pulls, which is not enough to guarantee a single limited 5-star character, let alone get you to soft pity if you're starting at 0. If we expand upon that and look at the bigger picture here, yeah, I'm using my brain. I'm on my Adderall today, guys, okay? My 3 brain cells have quadrupled to 8. That's math for you. But if you zoom out of it, it's not just give us more primos. It's Genshin is asking more from us as this game grows, but it's not giving me enough resources to keep up. That's honestly the real issue. And I felt this way for, a while. I talk about it on my stream a lot. Twitch.tv/Doro44. If you're not watching me live, what are you doing? I'm a pretty funny guy. But anyway, on a more serious note, the patch is giving 60 to 65 pulls, but it's dropping 2 new characters. I mean, F2P players are gonna feel a little squeezed. Like, they're not gonna be able to do that. 60 pulls isn't even enough for soft pity. That's 75. And then hard pity is 90. And if you didn't know this, not a guarantee. There's a 50-50. You might lose. Oh, wait, hold on. I just thought about it. That's what gotcha means. Gotcha game. Gotcha. Gambling. Oh, that makes sense.
Gambling.
But that's only the half of it, right? Because the bigger problem is honestly the new lunar reactions. Lunar reactions is the new meta. Lunar charge, lunar bloom, crystallize. These reactions are the new strongest damage in the game. And the supports that enable them, like Combina, Inefa, Flins, they're almost all premium 5-stars. So if you're F2P, you're being asked to pull 5-star DPS and 5-star supports to just keep up in today's game. And it's called the wheelchair comp, right? Where a character really needs other characters to.
What the fuck is that? Save me for Rina-chan. Is that like wheelchair? Give me Lemony. Wait, Genshin has a call system? Give me 6 calls teams or I retire? Oh, I didn't even know Genshin has a call system, bro. Damn, that's crazy.
Really be good. Every pull starts to really matter. In a patch that only gives you 60 pulls. And the math just doesn't work anymore. The game has changed where it feels like the rewards that we get have not scaled with the amount of things
Goryo came up with it.
I've been saying this for a while. The 4-star support era, you know, Bennett, Xiangling, Sing Shou, that era where like the national team could carry you in most like situations. Oh, kind of almost done. And the new era is going to cost us money. And the frustrating part is that Genshin has trained players to expect better. Dendro was amazing when it came out, and it gave new life to old characters. Kuki became incredible. Kaching, I even made a video on this, became usable. Lisa had more value. Toma, people were using Toma again. And that was like amazing. A new element or a mechanic that expands your options. When players feel like a new mechanic narrows those options, then the game just starts to feel bad. And that's why, you know, the advice I've always given people is just pull who you like. That advice is starting to kind of feel weaker. And I've been saying it a lot less actually, because it doesn't really hold up anymore. And by the way, there is one detail that I do have to include. Last year, 2025, Hoyo paid $20 million to settle with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, apparently for misleading players about loot box costs and, you know, prize odds, and for violating children's privacy rules. They did not admit that any wrongdoing, they just paid the money and brushed it under, which is kind of a classic move, right? But here's the part that matters to our story. The generous era, the free 5 stars, the second end game, all of it, right? Most of that lines up around the FTC investigation and the revenue cliff. So when you ask, did Hoyo become a better company? Maybe the answer is Hoyo became a better company while regulators and investors were watching, like they were forced to. So back to the original question, why won't Genshin listen to you? Because you asking is not the price they pay for ignoring you. If you want Hoyo to listen, you don't have to scream louder. You have to make ignoring the players the more expensive option. The community is not the customer, okay? The balance sheet is. And the only time that Hoyo has the community agree is when both of them are looking at the same number. And that's why the F2P drama that's going on right now is kind of interesting, because for the first time in a long time, it's not just like a vibes complaint, but like the math actually just doesn't work anymore. 60 pulls a patch with a meta that demands multiple 5-star units to like execute well and properly. The dollar value of being F2P is dropping. And
okay,
the math
to be completely fair to my good friend Darway, right? If this 60 pulls per patch became 100 pulls, you still can't get a multiple 5 stars. So it's less so the amount of pulls per patch, but more so the amount of 5 stars you need to form a team. And I'm guessing Genshin back then, from a perspective of a Genshin tourist, right? I'm guessing Genshin back then, your team building wasn't as strict with the shield buffs. Like the, what do you call it? Lunar buffs, which you need like Kalambina and Never, right? The back then you can just run like the run mace, right? You can run fucking Tingyun, bro, right? You can run Asta, right? That's like my analogy if I want to compare with Genshin. But nowadays you have to run Yao Guang, right? You have to run the fucking Elation flagship. You have to run Break with Dahlia, otherwise you just explode. So like the 5-star requirements became more strict for Genshin's endgame content, which kind of ties back into Genshin raising the endgame difficulty. All right, because of Stygian Onslaught, because of HP inflation, because of Imaginarium Theater, because like they wanted to make the game more difficult, right? So they came up with solutions to make the endgame more difficult. And then the solution was either you have more costs into your teams, or you pull for the shield units, the shield archetypes, right? The lunar buffs. So if this happened back then, right? Like if Genshin Impact gave out 60 pulls 3 years ago without all of the shield buffs and the lunar reactions, I think players probably won't be as upset because you don't need that many 5 stars to make a team. Alright, you can still run your Bonnet and like all the other like Genshin 4 stars, and then you can still clear all the endgame content. But like because you combine this 60 pulls with the brand new endgame being more difficult, then I guess it's gonna be a little bit more angry. Oh, this is HSR's fault. Oh. This is HSR's fault, by the way. HSR started the team thing, succeeded with $100 million of sales, beating Genshin Impact. Now, every fucking gacha from Wuthering Waves to Zenless Zone 0 to Genshin to CZN is copying this shit. It's your fault. Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, what is Gorreal? Gorreal?
5-star units to like execute well and properly, the dollar value of being F2P is dropping. And then when the math stops working, the wallets start to close. And then when the wallets close, well, that's when Hoyo starts to listen. But I'm not saying to not leave feedback or to, you know, voice your opinions. That does matter. Getting your voice heard and out there, leaving feedback, doing the surveys, that does matter. But
oh my God.
Again, at the end of
you know what's Star Rail? You know why it came from Star Rail? Because we are the path of the trailblaze, bro. Bro, we trailblaze team building options. We trailblaze the flagships. We trailblaze the shield environments, right? We trailblaze our path forward to an unknown domain expansion where you need a pool for the new unit. But guess what, though, right? This is what makes Gorreal, right? When we trailblaze, right? Bro, we get Nova flares, bro. We get free units, bro. Free limited units, by the way. Last time I checked, we're about to get a free Gilgamesh and an Archer. So at the end of the day, Gorreal do be Gorreal.
At the end of the day, money. That's what
at the end of the day, right? Hey, exactly what Doro said. At the end of the day.
Again, at the end of the day, money. That's what matters. Now, this is not a video, right, where I'm trying to be like, we need to revolt and stop spending money. You know, in a perfect world, if we all wanted to change, every single one of us.
By the way, I'm shitposting, by the way. I love all gachis. I'm just shitposting.
Included, stop paying money. But there's a whole casual side to Genshin that they don't get on Twitter, they don't get on Reddit, they don't watch YouTube videos that probably spend money and we don't know about it. Once they see that number drop a lot, that's when movement starts to go up. But yeah, that's my rant. That's my like deep dive into Genshin.
You're absolutely right.
And I'm not trying to call out Hoyo. I think every company at the end of the day does that, especially in a capitalistic society. I don't know. This is a new type of video. I want to hear your opinion.
WS fucking video, bro.
With the points
that was a WS
respectful
fucking
to one
video.
another in the comments as well. Let me know if you like this type of video where I kind of take a topic or a question that I've been thinking about for a while and kind of deep dive into it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I wish you the best of luck on your pulls for Nicole and or
Thank you, Mr. Doro, for a very, very exceptional video. What are your thoughts for Genshin? Is Genshin Impact listening? Question mark, right? So our word of the day is blah blah. Clip channel, bye bye. You have cooled your last cool, my man.